Come on in. The water's still going to be cold, Joe. Drive that Corvette off into the sunset and enjoy your golden years, my brother. Hello, my name is Tim Black of TBTV. If you're new to the channel, let me tell you that you're tuned into the most successful, most watched, most viewed, independent black media on the left. What are we talking about today? We're talking about Joe Biden. And he's floating the idea that he may announce Stacey Abrams as his running mate.
But as Ernest Hemingway once wrote, the world breaks everyone, and afterwards, many are strong at the broken places. I've been made strong at the broken places.
Platitudes, platitudes, platitudes. I don't hold it against Joe Biden that he wants to run again for president. I mean, this will be his fourth time. But you know that old saying, who hasn't heard it? If you lose, try again. If you lose, try again. If you lose, get yourself a black woman. Look, I'm still trying to figure out how this helps Stacey Abrams. I mean, you're running with Joe Biden, who needs you. I don't think you need him. I mean, if you want to lose. Get it? Stacey Abrams can lose without him. What really are the upsides of running with Joe Biden? There's been a lot of talk about polling and how Joe Biden's at the top of the polls, above Bernie Sanders, far in front of Kamala Harris, and even beating Beto O'Rourke. But what they don't talk about is why. Some inaccurately attribute Joe Biden's high polling numbers to something that Joe Biden has done, when he hasn't done anything. In fact, that's really why Joe Biden's polling high, in my opinion. It's because he hasn't been given a microphone where he will be heard often. Because it's only a matter of time before Joe Biden says or does something that will drop those poll numbers. And in fact, there are people who are being questioned, who would they vote for right now? And since they don't have a clear knowledge of who's really running in the race, and they hear about 15 names, when you say Joe Biden, they go, oh yeah, Joe Biden. I know him. Joe Biden. But that's nostalgia talking, not reality. In fact, what do people really know Joe Biden for? Nothing in particular. And that's only a matter of time before some of the particulars of Joe Biden's record start to come out, as they do in all Democratic primary nominations. Just ask Hillary.
Hello, my name is Joe Biden. I work for Barack Obama.
A quick look online will reveal there's a lot of conversation about Joe Biden running with Stacey Abrams. But Joe Biden is about to ruin his reputation. They were cautioned that maybe Joe running would be bad for Joe. Because he has, sometimes it's better not to lose again. You can get the high speaking fees. You could probably run for Senate in Delaware. I don't even know who's a senator in Delaware right now. Get what I'm saying? Joe could go back and get his old job back if he really wanted to work. Look, you've been vice president, you've been a senator, maybe just chill out. Go run the Corvette around a couple of times, make a couple of laps in the Corvette, or maybe you take up fishing or golfing. Leave selling out the donors and corporate interests alone for a while. These are just ideas. I mean, Joe Biden could go in either way. I'm just saying, it's very important that that the DNC is paying attention. I hope you're paying attention to this, DNC people, because what I'm telling you is some good stuff. I mean, all these donors are going to have to file in because believe you me, Joe Biden does not have a base of support across the country. Joe Biden was good for 2 states, Delaware and Michigan. And I'm iffy on Michigan at this point. If Hillary Clinton had a problem with it, Joe Biden will have a problem with it. Because they're seen pretty much cut from the same cloth, and they are tied to the same administrations. Is this thing on? I'm out here, I'm looking for a real reason why Joe Biden and Stacey Abrams make sense, and I stumbled across an article by the NewYorkMag.com, which is entitled 9 Reasons Biden and Abrams Ticket is a Brilliant Idea for Both. And most of the reasons to me were just basically stuff I just said to you that I thought were negatives. Like, oh, Abrams is going to cover up for Biden's past transgressions. Oh, Abrams is going to make Biden look less racist based on statements that he's made back as late as the 70s. Oh, Abrams is going to come in and make him look more diverse and make the party look more diverse. Ooh, we got a black woman in the house. Like, that type of logic only makes sense if people really are feeling affinity for Abrams in that way. And I'm not sure if they're doing that. A lot of people don't know Abrams in the black community. They would be just getting to know her. And I don't know if she exudes that much I'm black. I don't know. Like, what are we basing that on? We're basing on how she did in Georgia. And once again, she didn't win in Georgia. She did not win in Georgia, so what's the conversation? I'm trying to figure it out. But when we get down, so skip 1 through 3. Let's go to number 4. This says, picking Abrams now, Biden will lock himself in very early. I don't know how good that is. What if later on, Joe Biden has an opportunity where he could have got Kamala Harris? Or he could have got, I don't know who would run with him. Somebody else who's already in the race who can bring their state. Do you think that Stacey Abrams would give Biden Georgia? That's typically how you pick running mates, right? So we're going to jump ahead a little bit further because I'm still trying to figure it out. The move would make just as much sense for Abrams. She currently finds herself in a frustrated position of having demonstrated political talent, but lacking an obvious pathway in her career. I thought it was a no-brainer. Stacey Abrams was going to run for Senate in Georgia. Right? Some of the logic argues that for her to join Biden would also suggest she join Bernie Sanders, another high-polling old white guy. But even if Sanders would consider such a move a prospect, no reporting has suggested it makes less sense for her. Abrams is not a socialist and has a distinct different worldview. That's true. So she's not progressive, and Bernie just picking Abrams out because she's black will be just another version of tokenism that doesn't work well. Which puts us right back to where we are. All right, so let's just go ahead and put a little bow on this thing. Joe Biden is a bad choice as a nominee for the Democratic Party because Joe Biden is, after all, Joe Biden. The Democratic Party has moved left, maybe far left, the last time Joe Biden really peeked his head out and saw what was going on in the world. It's like we have Joe Biden fresh off of hibernation for the last 10, 20 years, and he wakes up and he's like, what's this Facebook thing? What's Twitter? What's Instagram? I don't get it. What's going on here? Joe Biden's out of the loop, and he's been out of the loop, and he's loopless. The reality is that Stacey Abrams is not going to carry it home for him. And she could only do more damage. I think she needs to build up her own credibility, build up her own gravitas, so to speak. And I don't think that's going to be done with Joe Biden. I don't think it's worth the risk for her as a rising star to some in the Democratic Party. I'm still trying to figure out exactly why she is a rising star. But I'm sure there'll be people in the comment section that remind me of the great accomplishments that she's made. And at the end of the day, I just don't see how this really helps Stacey Abrams. Why would she want to tether herself to Joe Biden, someone who was voted wrong on many things that are only going to come back to bite him and her by proxy? I mean, we had the bad vote in Iraq. We had him with deregulation as far back as 2005. We have him rolling hard with the segregationists of the sort of Storm and Thorman. I mean, this is not good. And also the more like the centrist policies of Barack Obama, what worked in 2008 won't work in 2019 or 2020. So I think it's a bad move for Stacey Abrams if you're looking out for Stacey Abrams. If you're looking out for Joe Biden, I think it's better for him to just take his ball and go home at this point. But who am I? I'm just a black guy who talks loudly on the internet to audiences about things they want to hear about and just calls it as I see it. Biden's advisors mull launch, naming Abrams as a running mate, And as you can see, they're really dangling the carrot of Stacey Abrams. They're water testing. Come on in. The water's still going to be cold, Joe. Drive that Corvette off into the sunset and enjoy your golden years, my brother. If you enjoyed this video, watch the next video and subscribe to this channel. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter as Real Tim Black and on Instagram as Tim Black at Night.